Welcome back, folks, to the Mailwright Show. This is episode 196. My normal co-host, Robert Newman, is still in Spain, and he's on a on a plane as we talk, on a plane, a train, a car, who knows? But I've got a returning guest. I've got Scott with me, and we've got a amazing show for you. Scott's provided some great subject material, and it's going to be a blast. Scott, would you like to introduce yourself to the new listeners and viewers?
Yeah, I would. Thanks all again, Jonathan, for inviting me back. I'm glad to be able to participate. My name is Scott Hoen. I've been in the title insurance industry for nearly 30 years, helping title sales, real estate agents, mortgage professionals with the technology and marketing side of the business. It's the ability to build relationships and create value and help them grow their business. So I've taken the tools and I've stayed current with the tools in the real estate marketplace. I currently work for TitleCapture. It's one of the best net sheet closing cost calculator tools that are out there for real estate professionals and title professionals to use.
That's great, Scott. And what we're going to be discussing, listeners and viewers, is we're going to be discussing all the tools in a digital age that can help you get stuff done the quickest and with the least hassle as possible. We've got a load of free or inexpensive digital applications for your phone, Android, iPhone, and for your desktop that will enable you to get work done as efficiently as possible and keep your clients happy and amazed at your productivity and efficiency. That doesn't sound bad, does it, Scott?
That's right.
So where are we going to start off, Scott?
You know, I would kick it off with one of the most important apps that anybody should have, whether you're in real estate or not, is a password management tool.
Why do you think that's important, Scott?
Well, too many times I see people on sticky notes. Too many times I see people using maybe the Notes app on their devices, or putting in email systems. They're not secure. So, and I literally have so many places to log on. And I change my passwords regularly to make sure they're secure. And I want to make sure that I have different passwords with different sites, just because if someone gets hacked, I don't have to change the password for all of my sites. So I try to have one password application that allows me to have one master password that gets access to all my passwords that I use.
And I do exactly the same. What I think people got to realize, folks, is that I have different levels of security, Scott. Some people would agree with me, but on my key accounts, my banking accounts and my email accounts, they have extremely long and complicated passwords, which are in no shape or form could I remember. On less important websites, I use either a general password or not that secure, but hackers, basically they want to get into your banking and financial accounts, and especially your email accounts, because they want to be able to change your password on your email accounts and then approach your financial institutions. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And more people are getting comfortable using mobile applications, even for their financial apps. So, a lot of times there's that double security where you log in and then it texts you a code to make sure that you're the right person to get into that. So very important.
So which password managers do you recommend, Scott?
I would recommend either LastPass. There's a nice free one, or I use 1Password. It works for me in terms of I'm a Mac user. So if I create a password in 1Password, then it's on my phone, it's on my Mac, and it's easy. It's on my browsers, and it works for me. But I would recommend either 1Password or LastPass.
Yeah, 1Password, I've been using it, but recently, over 2 years now, you've been able to use it on Windows. Because I'm not an Android user, I don't know if 1Password provides an Android app. I don't know, but I do know it works on Windows desktop now.
Yeah, it does.
and on the Mac. When it comes to LastPassword, I think it's a great tool. I don't know if they've changed their pricing. It used to be free for the desktop, and then if you wanted to use it on mobile devices, then you had to cough up some money. I don't know if they've changed that. The only thing I would say about LastPass is that its interface and some of its key functionality about sharing passwords, I find a little bit more complicated than
I would agree.
password. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. I mean, one of the nice things is with 1Password, my family knows all of my passwords just by knowing that master key password, right? So if anything should happen to me and they want to have access to any of the sites that I go to or use, they just know the master secured password. You know, it's a long saying to make sure that it's secure. So it's easy for them to get access to it.
And folks, don't worry about all you're going to have to go next week is go to the MailRite website, and hopefully Scott's going to give me the URLs to everything we discuss, and I will make sure they're in the show notes.
Yeah, that's great.
To go to everything we're going to be discussing today. So I totally agree with you. It's not the most sexiest subject to start off with, but if you get your business and your clients get hacked with you because you haven't got secure passwords, that is not a fun situation to deal with, is it, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've heard a lot of horror stories. So do it right when you can.
Right. Where are we going next, Scott?
The big thing is social. So I would go with the social apps that are there. So a lot of people are accessing them on desktop, but when you look at the social applications that are out there, obviously in our market, Facebook's important for the older crowd. Instagram is probably more important for the younger crowd. I use those, and I usually accept friend requests from anybody that's associated with my friends. But when it gets to LinkedIn, it's more the professional app. And I recommend that you use LinkedIn. It's more it's the professional resume. It's those actual contacts you know and you have relationships with. And then obviously you got Twitter, Pinterest, Snapchat, but learn to, whatever your market is, whether it be in the higher end Facebook or lower end Instagram, learn how to use the apps and learn how to use the page manager, even within Facebook, to manage your ad campaign if you have one.
Yeah, so I was listening to a presentation about Instagram, and the individual that was the guest of the webinar hopefully is going to come on the show. I'm still discussing her coming on the show with her personal assistant. But
Nice.
What's your thoughts about Instagram? Because I think I'm not totally bought into its ability to actually generate leads, but on the other hand, I think it's a great medium for building your local brand.
Yeah, that is for sure. So yes, I think the Facebook, the homeowners, the older homeowners are on the Facebook side of the business, but the 28 to 35-year-old first-time home buyer that's active on Instagram is going to be the Instagram of the future. So, and it all goes around video, really. So get comfortable with video, get comfortable with using it in open houses and telling a story, because you never know, it might catch somebody's attention. You get some followers, but it's building that all-encompassing brand.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the actual mechanism, I haven't seen, I'm sure I'm probably going to be corrected on this, but because Instagram is a very mobile device, and this is reducing a little bit, but actually getting people to purchase on mobile is a little bit more difficult than getting them. I've seen recently when it comes to actually shops, e-commerce, actually getting people to purchase when they're on mobile devices, it seems a little bit harder. You inform them, and then at some stage they're on a desktop, and then they go to your site and actually buy. And I think the same thing applies to advertisement. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and when you think about it, social is building relationships, right? So if you've spent time and energy building a sphere of influence or having past clients, I mean, the biggest mistake I see real professional real estate agents make is they forget about the buyers and sellers they've represented. They haven't stayed in touch. Use Instagram to more personally stay in touch with your clients, or use Instagram to tell stories about what's going on in the community. Build value.
Well, I was totally agree with you. I was listening to Chris Smith and Jimmy from a Curator. They were doing a Facebook Live, and I think one of the key things that they were discussing during the show, which was on yesterday, was what you've just said, and how bad a lot of agents are about keeping in front of their referral network and just building their brand in general.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So where we're going to go next?
I would recommend every one of the real estate professionals that are out there, even the lending professionals, mortgage professionals, reach out to the title company that you work with. The title companies have a tremendous amount of technology tools available to them. The first one is property information. So a lot of real estate professionals access RPR through the MLS system. RPR is free from the National Association of Realtors, but I don't see a lot of people using the RPR app.
And what is the RPA, and what is the app?
Well, RPR stands for Resource Property, something like that. It's a property information app, right? A real estate agent wants to know ownership information, physical characteristics, tax information, loan information of a particular house. They want to know the comparable sales in the neighborhood. They want to know what's going on with schools in the neighborhood. There are a lot of good ones out there. So First American has My First Am.
Right.
If you're using the Fidelity brands, Fidelity Chicago, Tycor Lawyers, they promote the Agent Pro 247. CoreLogic has a great tool out there called REI Source. There's even Property Shark. There's a lot of them that are desktop and mobile, and they do a good job. I mean, My First Am, for example, has got a great farming application built into it. So you could literally knock on doors, and before you even knock on a door, who lives there, how long they've lived there, and all the information about them, so you can start carrying on a conversation. So use the tools from your title company to the max. And the property information ones are the ones to start with.
Right. Are there any that you really like that you?
I would probably say My First Am and Agent Pro 247 is my 1-2.
Oh, that's great. That's great information. And I think it's something that a lot of agents forget about, don't they?
No, yeah. And, so for example, if you're going to go on a listing presentation, and if you had My First Am, for example, you can go look up that particular property, go look at the grant deed, the ownership document, the warranty deed, to see if they're in fact the ones that own the house they're going to sign the MLS agreement. I mean, do your research before you go there. Most agents do, in terms of come up with a comparable sales analysis. Those tools have them. But just knowing the right ownership and physical characteristics and making sure they've got that down right is a good place to start too.
Oh, you're back. You're back again, Scott. Sorry, we broke up a little bit there.
Oh, sorry. So real estate professionals just need to go to the apps to determine who actually owns the property. Go look at the grant deed. Go look at the warranty deed. Go look at the information before you go out in that listing presentation to make sure you got the right people signing the documents to list the property.
Oh, great. So where should we go next? I think on your list it's neighborhood information.
Yeah, and in fact, what I would probably recommend is don't forget on the title company side, First American's got a program called Discounts, DISCOWNTS, and the Fidelity brands have a program called EC Purchasing. So if you're looking to save money on office supplies, mailing services, things like that, they can actually save you, some money with their purchasing power by enrolling in their program. So talk to them about those mobile apps too. I think we're breaking up.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. I'm not sure what's freezing. I'm not sure why we're freezing, but
no, it might be me. I apologize, listeners and viewers. But let's go on. Neighborhood information.
Neighborhood information. So everybody should be aware that Yelp is a good system. A lot of the younger professionals out there are using Siri on their phone, and they're asking Siri for who's the top real estate agent in the marketplace. Get connected to Yelp. Nextdoor is the next good app to be connected to in terms of neighborhood information. So Yelp, Nextdoor, but there are 3 other good ones: Around Us, Best Places, and Great Schools. Again, good information of what's happening in the neighborhood that you could stay connected to.
And these are just, Yelp reviews, getting your page, which you can get done for free. You're going to get Yelp approaching you like a rash, though.
Yeah,
But these other 3, are they more about?
Well, like Around Us
a page on them, or is it more about getting useful information or a bit of all?
Yeah, it's Around Us and Best Places is more community-based information in terms of demographics and what's happening in the marketplace, average income, things like that. You need to be the mayor of your city. You need to be the expert. So those tools will help you do that. Great Schools is just going to help you with the school systems and the ratings that, buyers are always interested. What's the best school, or what's the school for that particular home that you're with? So I recommend those.
Do you know if you can advertise on these apps?
I believe you can. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I know Nextdoor, obviously you can.
I'll make sure it's in the show notes, folks.
Yeah.
Sorry about the slight technical problems. I think it's on my end, folks. But continue listening to us because we've got some great information. We're going to go for our break, folks, and then we're coming back. We'll be delving into some more great apps and resources to make you a more effective real estate agent. We'll be back in a few moments. We're coming back. We've had some slight technical troubles. Don't know if it's on Scott's or my end. I think it's probably more on my end. I'm recording away from my normal studio, folks, but the connection should be great. So on to the next area, and I think it's purchasing power. I think that's the title.
Well, I think we touched upon those, but I would go to just the Apple and / Microsoft apps.
Right. Yep, so, let's go to Apple and Microsoft.
So everybody, is familiar with Microsoft in terms of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and a lot of people get those applications. If you're an iPhone user, you have Pages, which is compatible to Word, Numbers, which is compatible to Excel, or Keynote that's compatible with PowerPoint. And you can import those into either one. So Microsoft's done a good job to make sure the information can flow back and forth. But the biggest one that I would recommend, if you're an iPhone user on the Apple side, or if not, get connected to PDF Expert. So either iBooks or PDF Expert, a PDF type tool. Real estate professionals should have their flyers, their materials, their information organized in a way that they can easily pull it up on an app and send it to somebody. iBooks does a great job in terms of managing PDFs as well as books. PDF Manager or the PDF Expert, or there's a lot of other utility tools that can manage that too. But just somehow learn how to manage your PDF assets that you can send material to people easily and quickly.
Oh, that's a great point, actually. And I think a lot of agents, if they're being really honest with themselves, they need to up their game a bit, don't they?
Yeah. It's just, you're scrambling for paper, or I'll email it to you tonight, or I'll email it to you tomorrow. Just be able to call it up real quick on your phone or your iPad, or your tablet of some type. Just makes it easy to communicate and makes you look better too.
And then we got closing costs and net sheet. Is that what we're going on next?
Yep. So, obviously I work for TitleCapture. That's one, TitleCapture.com. But again, title companies have access to these different tools. The First American brand has access to Cost First, COSTS First.com. It's an app as well as desktop. And the Fidelity brands, Fidelity Chicago, Tycor Lawyers, they're using the Palm Agent app. So you could go get Fidelity Agent or Chicago Agent or Tycor Agent. But get connected to your title company closing apps. So when your seller wants to know, great, what are my closing costs, or what am I going to net out of the transaction? If I sell for $500,000, how much cash am I actually going to get after I pay off my loans? Or if the buyer wants to buy this particular property, they're having a conversation with you in an open house. They want to know how much is my monthly payment and what's my down payment going to be to make that work. These closing cost applications are excellent. TitleCapture is more into the title agency side or the attorney marketplace. But if you're dealing with a national underwriter right now, it's Cost First or this Palm Agent type app. But get connected to those apps.
Oh, that's great. Then we're on to scanners.
Everybody needs to have some type of app that can easily take a picture of a receipt, take a picture of something and convert it to a PDF. There are a lot of them out there. I happen to use Evernote and PDF Expert. Evernote's a great place to store information, but it's also got a nice little scanning tool associated with it too. But learn how to take a picture and not just send a JPEG or a high density image. Learn how to be able to convert that to a PDF so you can use it. I mean, obviously it's important for your closing documents or getting a signature. You need to learn how to manipulate those.
And I think Full Contact, another free app for your contacts, managing your contacts on your phone. But I think with the Full Contact, I think you have to pay for the paid version, though. You get a really nice scanner there. And they've got, I know Full Contact have a iPhone and an Android app.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I would add that. But I think that applies to Evernote. They've got Android and iPhone, haven't they?
Yeah, just there are so many out there. I mean, I was looking at my phone and all the different scanner apps that I have. If someone says fax me this page, well, how are you going to fax somebody by just taking a picture? No, learn how to use these tools so you can fax somebody.
Yeah, I think when it comes to actual professionalism and showing that it's not an age thing either. You're quite any agent that really wants to be taken seriously. They've got to learn how to use these tools, haven't they?
Yeah, they really do. If you don't, the younger generation will, and they'll pass you. So if you're the seasoned veteran that's doing a lot of numbers, 25, 50 transactions or more a year, you need to stay on top of the tools because you're going to compete against them.
Then we're on to cloud storage.
My ones that I use most of the time are Dropbox, Google Drive, or Evernote. So Dropbox makes it easy to store documents in the cloud or on my devices at the same time. So if I store something on my computer, I could say to Dropbox, I also want to keep a copy in the cloud, or I only want to keep it in the cloud to free up space. So Dropbox is one. It's easy to share files from Dropbox to other people. Google Drive, they've just increased, I don't know how many, you can have like a terabyte of space now for free, I think. So Google Drive's another popular one. Gets used a lot with Google Docs and all the tools that Google has. And then obviously Evernote. Evernote's a great place to store it. So, I take pictures of, my driver's license, or I take pictures of serial numbers, whatever, and I can store things, in the cloud and not have to take space on my computer. And I have access to it then, either mobile, desktop, or anywhere I am.
Yeah, I think the one way I would divide these, Scott, is that I still have a business level of Dropbox because I'm a distributed company, but the basic interface, searchability, and being able to share links, the actual UX design of Dropbox is still superior than Google.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. I would agree.
With Google Drive, one of the great reasons why to have a Google Drive, and I do, is especially if you're taking a lot of photographs and video on an iPhone or Android, if you have the Google Photo app on it, and you can soon fill up your phone with photographs and especially with video. But if you have the Google Photo app, which will link to your Google Drive, you can automatically push this off into your Google Drive and use the Photo app to sort, find photos, push them, download them. It's just a great mechanism for organization.
You bring up a great point that we don't talk about enough is backup. And most people don't even check it to see if they're backing up their photos and videos and whatever it is on their phone, to a cloud place. and maybe do multiple backups, so photos are precious to you, right? So if you lose your phone, oh my God, what am I going to do with my photos? They're in the cloud, or I have them in multiple places just to make sure.
And
But
the
backup.
Google the Cloud app is really easy to use. Because some of Google's stuff can be a bit clunky, to be
Yeah,
truthful.
you're right.
And
Yep.
they've improved the actual Google Drive interface, and recently they've provided the same ability as Dropbox, where you actually have an app on either Windows or Mac, where you can literally have the files available on your desktop.
Yeah.
They've got that function. They introduced that
Well,
functionality with Google Drive, and it's available on the Mac and on Windows.
Well, and if you're a team of real estate professionals, Google Drive's got the ability that, have people go into a document that 3 or 4 people can make comments on, pull it up in real time, manage those documents. So from a team point of view, and if you're managing documents or managing files, it's a good place to use it too.
Right, on to the next thing. News. You got news.
Everybody wants to stay current on things. So, my favorite, news apps are Smart News, which is probably competes better than Apple News, Flipboard. Pick a paper that you like. Pick a, one that meets your politics. But, I always want to stay connected to some of the top of the mind, easy, quick things that are happening today. Pick the local news, that you have. I mean, to be the neighborhood expert or to be the mayor of your city, you want to be able to communicate out to your sphere or out to your marketplace what's happening in case of something major happens in the marketplace. Could be a fire, could be an accident, whatever. Just stay on top of things. And these mobile apps let you do that.
I would add one. Obviously, folks, I come from England, so the BBC have a great free app as well, and that's the one I use to keep myself up to date. You can have it on your phone, Android or iPhone, or on your tablet, Android or Apple, and it's the one that I use. So I thought I would just add that.
Mm-hmm.
Give the BBC some love.
Well, different perspective too, right? Different viewpoints, right? So, stay in tune.
We're going to wrap up with audio. We're going to continue the discussion in our bonus content, but we wanted to keep this around 30 minutes. And I want to give Scott the opportunity to say how you can reach him. But let's wrap up with audio. So what do you think about audio then?
People are starting to multitask more than ever, and it's easy to listen to something in the background and continue doing your work. So with video, you have to pay attention and watch it and listen. But audio, you can just listen. So Stitcher's got a great audio news service to keep in contact with what's happening. So it's the news feed on audio. But, get connected to Audible to, if you're driving for a couple hours, and you want to listen to a book rather than reading the book. And then get connected to whatever podcast app you have. I mean, MailRite, Jonathan does a great podcast with MailRite. You should be using the podcast apps to listen to it. So once a week, you can download it, look at it, listen to it while you're driving. So take advantage of the podcast apps as well.
Yeah, I think it's so true, especially if you're a busy agent. But keeping yourself up with the latest technology trends in your industry, listening to them, there's about half a dozen really active podcasts, which I think are giving good value if you're a real estate agent. Obviously, I'm biased. I think MailRite, me and Robert have been doing an excellent job recently, and our listening figures show that. And having great guests like you has helped as well, Scott. But I think it's just a great way, especially if you're in the car, which most agents are. They've got their home office, they're in the car, they're visiting clients, they're showing property. It's just a great way of keeping you up to date, isn't it, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen to something that you can learn from and grow from rather than just listen to music. I mean, great, there's music apps too. We haven't talked about them, but, learn and grow.
So we're gonna continue this in our bonus content, which you'll also be able to watch on the website with, like I say, with a full set of show notes with all the links to all the products and services that we've discussed. Now, Scott, how can people find out more about you, your thoughts, what you're up to, and the company that you represent?
Yeah, the best way to reach me is scott@titlecapture.com. That's the NetSheet company that I represent and work with. Or you can call me at 714-270-9607. Text me, call me. I'm on Facebook, YouTube. Just Google me, Scott, Hoen, and get in touch with me. And if I can help or be of assistance, let me know.
That's great. And we'll be back next week. I'll be back with my normal co-host, Robert Newman. And we've also got a good guest. I think it's going to be an interesting discussion. It's going to be around sales and how to influence your local community and the most modern sales advice. And we've got a really powerful client. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you're going to be impressed. We're going to see you next week, folks. Bye. So shall we continue?
Yeah.
Video. So did we cover that? No, I don't think we got some more.
No, we didn't.
Video? You got some here that I haven't even heard of.
There are a lot of video apps that you should take advantage of. I mean, a lot of, and we're just scratching the surface. I mean, if you wanted to have a great video email tool, BombBomb is excellent. It's got a great mobile application. There's a lot of applications that they connect with. But, everybody knows about YouTube. YouTube's got the mobile apps as well as desktop. You should have a YouTube channel. You should be promoting what you do. So if you do a video on your camera and you can easily send it over to YouTube, I would recommend. But there's some other ones that allow you to do some branding. Ripple, RIPL, Adobe Spark, Magisto. They're good ones to learn from. Just for branding, just to get your videos published in an easy and simple way.
I know
there are a lot of them.
I know with Vimeo, I think it was a month or 2 months ago, they have got their own live video sharing element.
I haven't tried that one yet.
No, I think you've got to have like their third paid version, but they're doing live video. The reason why I bring that up, folks, is if you're in a power team and you want to market your videos and have more control and have a live show, that's more controllable than what you would have if you just push it direct to Facebook or YouTube. It might be a thing to look at, but it's definitely, video is just becoming more and more important, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, just like you're doing your MailRite podcast and you're distributing it on the iTunes and all the different podcast platforms, but you're also pushing it on Facebook Live. Important to do. Build an audience. So
on to the others. So what would you like to point out about the others?
I'm gonna say that you should have a texting tool. That's number one. So texting is important. It's becoming more and more important. Not only send out one text, but to send out multiple texts. So there's a lot of texting tools out there. Find the one that works for you. I saw a new one. It's a paid app. It's called Hey Market. I think it gives you, for $49, you get 1,000 texts. But if you want to say, something to 50 of your top clients or your past clients, and, have a happy Memorial Day, for example, you can easily do that. They're going to pay attention to it. Email's got 23, 24% open rate. Text has got 95, 97% open rate. So get connected to a text tool. That's number one. On the phone side of it, using your tool, don't forget about slide dial. I mean, a lot of times when you call people, you realize you're going to get voicemail 50% of the time, but you should have your script ready to leave them whatever that message might be. But slide dial actually is an app that lets you call that number, bypass them picking up the phone, and go directly to leaving them a message. So if I wanted to use slide dial at 7:30 in the morning and say, have a great day, it's not going to ring. It's not going to give them the ability to answer, but it's going to go right to their voicemail. So slide dial is a nice little trick that you can broadcast messages out with.
And you're right. So what about travel? You got travel?
Everybody should be, connected to Waze or Google Maps, right? In terms of directions, make sure that you use that tool to save yourself some time around accidents. one of the things I see a lot of people with iPhones and they're not taking advantage of Siri to the max. I mean,
Yeah.
just, even on the Android side, take advantage of be able to communicate with your phone to send the message rather than type the message, or, say, I don't want to say the word, but hey, S, remind me to do something at 10 o'clock tomorrow. And it goes on your calendar, or goes into a note, but use the tool to be able to communicate with you, just to make you more productive. That's all.
Oh, it's definitely improved my memory.
Oh yeah, I mean, you forget things, right? So if you don't tell yourself, it works. It helps. I use it all the time.
And then you got Slack for Teams.
Slack is a great app out there. Our company uses Slack. It's a way that we can communicate not via email, but live in kind of a place that everybody can either communicate one-on-one or one-on-multiple, or have rooms to communicate with. Slack is a way to grow your communication. I think they're even in a place that they're thinking about going public if they haven't gone public already. So Slack, I mean, I was talking to my daughter. I mean, even, as a friendship within, it's like a social, network. It allows people to communicate easily. The younger generation doesn't use email, but they use Slack, for example.
We certainly do. And then you got mobile business card.
There's some good ones out there. I mean, sometimes, when you talk about handing business cards out, you're not doing that in paper form all the time, right? So First American has an app called firstphoneapps.com that allows you to send your contact information easily to somebody so they can reach you. So when you get signed up either for First Phone Apps, or there's another one good out there, one called Card Tap, and there's a lot of other ones that do the same thing. It basically puts an icon on your home screen on that mobile application. So all you do is tap on it. Then you see a place that I want to contact them. I want to go to their website. I want to text them. I want to call them. But it kind of leaves a place where you're in their state of mind because they see your picture as an icon on their desktop all the time. So use a mobile business card application.
Yeah, it's just great. And then you got photo apps.
There's a lot of people take pictures, but know that you can edit those pictures by putting text on top of those pictures. Maybe it's your logo, maybe it's your phone number, maybe it's your name, maybe you want to blur out something, maybe you want to blur out something that you took a picture of. So I would say Over is one. There's Blur Editor. Clips does a great job at that. Canva is a great application. There's a lot of them, that photo apps that let you, tweak and make the app, the picture look fantastic. But take advantage of some apps that allow you to write text on top of those photos that you can use. So then when the photos get shared, then, they're sharing your information, not just the photo.
I think that's a fantastic point. And a lot of agents, having some branding on your photos, so you're getting your brand message consistently over. Another factor is there's some great, I won't say fully powered, but some of them are amazing. What I'm talking about is actual doing some video editing on your iPad or your Android tablet or your phone. There's some free ones and there's some very inexpensive that are specifically been designed to do some basic editing to your video and putting your branding on the little videos, which you should be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be careful when you're sending those photos to the MLS because they've got their own rules. But when you're posting it to your own video channel or your own website and things like that, if someone sees a photo and they print they print something out, at least they have all your information with it. Whether it be a logo, name, or contact information. Yep.
Well, Scott, thanks for coming on the show. Scott, hopefully, I'm sure he's going to come back next month for episode because we've got a whole section around CRMs that Scott's prepared. And I'm sure with me, Robert, and Scott, we'll have a really interesting discussion around CRMs. They're normally one of the most popular subjects on our podcast where we get the maximum figures. So I look forward to that discussion in the next month, actually.
Yeah, it's a very popular question. What's the best CRM out there? And there's a lot of ways of answering that question. There's a lot of them out there, and we can have that conversation. And
thanks for coming on the show. We had some slight technical issues at the beginning, but then it seemed to calm down and be rock solid, didn't it?
Yeah, we're good.
It was funny. Well, so folks, we'll see you next week where we have another great discussion to make you a better real estate agent in 2019. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.
Great. Goodbye.